Maria here. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to share with you some fragrances I've never talked about. So these are all kind of in the gourmand category. They are fragrances that I have been given samples of by some different people. My new friend Leah from Vancouver, Hesse, gave me a couple. So I've got 5 fragrances that I really want to bring to you guys because I think they're so fabulous, like 10 out of 10, fantastic. They smell amazing for different reasons, but all of them are fairly gourmand. So I can't wait. Gourmands, I'm just loving gourmands these days. So before I get started, if you haven't subscribed, just go ahead and hit that button. Join the weird and wonderful family. It would be amazing to have you part of the community, and let's get into this. The one thing that I want to start with is something that just kind of rubs me the wrong way. And I've noticed a lot of fragrance YouTubers doing this, and each to his own. You can do what you want, but I just notice it and I want to speak to it. So what I've heard a lot, gourmands have been a thing for a few years. They kind of were all the rage, but there's these trends that will happen. So gourmands, they're out this year. This is what I'm going to focus on. I want to focus on clean and fresh. And I want to just make you guys aware that those trends are out there because they're trending. They'll say things like that because it's fresh content and they want to move away from gourmands. So they're going to talk about freshies or whatever they happen to want to talk about. And that's perfectly fine. The concern that I have, like, I don't care what people say on the internet. My concern, and obviously you guys are all intelligent, but there can be a bit of FOMO, where you listen to an influencer and you take their opinions, and for the whole entire year, all they talk about are high-end gourmands and this and that and the other thing. And so you purchase all these fragrances and then they go, I'm sick of those. I'm talking about this. They're getting the majority of these fragrances for free. That's just the reality. You guys are having to purchase them with your coin. So I want to really caution against fear of missing out. So in any video that I talk about, it is unrealistic to think that you should have a collection that looks like mine, because the reality is that's not even practical. It's ridiculous. I've got so many fragrances right now, I don't know where to put them. So the thing is that I'm doing this and it's content, so of course I have more fragrances, but you should never feel pressured by social media to purchase anything or feel like you're missing out in some way, because you're not. It's a fleeting moment of joy, fleeting, to get a new package. You might try it, but what it reminds me of in a lot of ways is when we were kids, we'd get a shiny new toy at Christmas and we'd really enjoy it for a few minutes, and then we just toss it to the side. It's not really that exciting anymore. Fragrance can be that for people if they're not careful, where they're getting a fragrance, it's new, it's exciting, the rush of ordering it, the rush of it waiting for it, the rush of getting it in your hands, the rush of smelling it for the first time, or having a full bottle and getting to see the beauty of the bottle. That is fleeting, and then a lot of times it goes on your shelf and collects dust. So please, when I talk about fragrances, like, if you're really loving the exploration, buy a sample, get a sample. There's lots of places that sell samples. Buy a sample and enjoy it for, a little bit of time, and then decide if it's something that's really worth your hard-earned cash. So anyway, that's my little rant. I honestly think that we need to be, if anything should trend, it should be sanity this year. So do not feel ever like you're missing out. But for me, when I was listening to fragrance YouTubers before I started my channel, the reason why I enjoyed it was, first of all, I like listening to people talk about what they're passionate about. I enjoy seeing people's passion about a subject. So I listened to it for that reason. I was wanting to start my fragrance experiences, and so I wanted to learn about fragrances and be educated before I started to go deep dive into it. So that was another reason. And last, I was legitimately wanting to learn about different fragrances, and I found it exciting and fun. And for me, when I wasn't able to purchase all the fragrances that I heard about it it was still enjoyable to me to hear about fragrance and to learn about the different fragrances that are out there, because then I could make an educated decision if I wanted to choose to get it, but I just found it fun. So I wanted to say that off the cuff, because right now people are going, oh, gourmands are out. And it's like, as if. Really, people love food type fragrances. So you go ahead and you enjoy gourmands if you love them. If you don't love gourmands, that is fine. You enjoy white florals or whatever it is that you enjoy, and don't let anybody tell you that you should be moving on and that, oh, these are out, because that's ridiculous. Okay, rant is over. The first fragrance I want to talk about, I am totally mesmerized by this fragrance, and it is called Match Made in Heaven. And Leah, thank you so much. She gave me these huge samples and they are so gorgeous. So this is a fragrance brand I have not heard of. So the world of fragrance is so vast and huge. This one is made by a company called Source. And listen to the notes. Waffle cone, matcha tea, ice cream, sugar, cherry blossom, almond, and sandalwood. Amazing! Like seriously, this one is so yummy. So I noticed the almond right away and that matcha tea, like a tea-like vibe. But as this dries down on the skin, it gets a little bit more creamy. So I get that ice cream. I don't notice a whole lot of waffle cone. So when I think about waffle cone, I think of something like whiff of a waffle cone, which is just so overpowering in the waffle cone department. Like it's like you're being suffocated by waffle cone. I like the smell, but I find it to be too much in whiff of a waffle cone and not overly wearable. This is so scrumptious. It's so delicious. It's so creamy and powdery at the same time. So it would be like a matcha tea version of something like a Bianco latte. That's the feel that I get. A matcha tea almond version of Bianco latte. So this also has a bit of sandalwood in it. It's just absolutely spectacular. This is the kind of gourmand that feels uber cozy. There's a little bit of sophistication to it. It smells sensual. So sometimes I want to smell a little bit lickable, but I don't want to smell like full-on food. This has enough going on with that matcha and the almond that it just, I don't know, I think it smells a little bit mysterious. It smells a little bit powdery, a little bit sensual and sexy, and I'm a huge fan. So I would say that the overarching theme is that matcha for sure, but this is definitely on my wish list. I am in love with this fragrance. I just think it's that cozy gourmand that smells so sensual and kind of addictive. You know, lots of gourmands smell, can smell kind of uplifting, but this one's definitely a little bit more on the sensual addictive side, a little bit intoxicating. So I really like it. I saw on Fragrantica that some people thought that it was like, I don't need a prince by my side to be a princess. I would say that I like this more than that one by Kilian. This one to me is more sophisticated. It doesn't have the fruity component to me, but you still get that powder, like the part that's similar to I don't need a prince by my side to be a princess would be that powdery kind of matcha feel. But this has kind of an added creaminess because of that ice cream and that waffle cone. It's just, ooh, like it's addictive to me for sure. Next fragrance that's absolutely amazing, and this is affordable, is Tiramisu speculoos. I love this fragrance. This opens with cinnamon and coffee. It has cacao and vanilla in the heart and then musk in the base. I definitely get the coffee in this one. So I was slightly disappointed by Chabot Maison de Parfums Tiramisu, Mon Tiramisu. So that one smelled mainly cacao to me. This one, I definitely get the cacao, but I also get the cinnamon, which balances out that cacao, because cacao / chocolate can get really powdery, a little bit sickly. Whereas when you add that cinnamon, it kind of balances it out. And I am a huge fan of cinnamon in my chocolate, like chocolate chip cookies, chocolate cake. I really love a little bit of cinnamon in there. The cool thing about this one is I actually get that hint of coffee. So it's not super overpowering, but I do get the coffee. I don't really get a creamy vibe from this necessarily. I get a little hint of booziness, which I often do when I smell chocolate and coffee. If you like coffee and chocolate, this would be a really great fragrance to have. The vanilla kind of just amps up the sweetness. I don't really notice any musk in there, but I really feel like there's a beautiful balance between the cinnamon, the coffee, and the cacao. This is called Tiramisu speculoos. What it reminds me of more, it would be like a Mexican hot mocha. So, you know, the hot chocolate, like mocha, like chocolate and coffee, with that hint of cinnamon, that's the feel that it gives me more than a creamy tiramisu, because I'm missing the custard aspect in this. That said, oh my goodness, this is so delicious. It's addictive again. Like seriously, I'm in love with this. This is one that I have to have as well. Hez from Hez Perfumes sent me a whole discovery kit, and I am going to be sharing quite a few of those because I think they're so stellar. But one of the ones that just was fantastic is called Cafe Beignet by Hez Perfumes. From what I understand, I've never had one, but a beignet is New Orleans. It originated in France, but it's a New Orleans kind of traditional pastry, and it's essentially deep fried pastry with powdered sugar. Now, although I haven't had a traditional beignet, I've definitely had kind of like the funnel cake idea with the powdered sugar. So that delicious kind of pastry with the powdered sugar is so addictive and delicious. So Beignet Cafe, from what I understand, it's kind of paying homage to the New Orleans tradition of having a beignet, and then you have your coffee, you dip it in the coffee, whatever. It's kind of a thing. So this one is so delicious. It has coffee and cinnamon in the opening. In the heart, you have brown sugar, iris, and vanilla, and the base is chocolate, sandalwood, and oud. You've got your coffee there. The coffee's got some sugar in it, and then you've got your beignet with the powdered sugar. So I get that sweetness, I get the coffee. It's a little bit boozy in the opening, and again, I associate that with coffee for some reason. Coffee and booze, I oftentimes pick up kind of a booze feel in that coffee. But then as this dries down, honestly, it almost reminds me of a Madeleine pastry, a donut feel. So a little bit of a donut vibe, which is that beignet feel along with the coffee. And I just think this is fun to wear. It's definitely very gourmand, but it's not too sweet, but you definitely feel like you smell like a cakey, I don't know, like a beignet or like a Madeleine or something of that nature. That's the feel that this gives me, along with a cup of coffee on the side. The coffee's not too sweet. It's not the most prominent, but I definitely still get it for sure. This is super long lasting on the skin, like a good 8 to 10 hours. Although I'd say after about 5 hours, it kind of becomes a skin set. So really enjoyed this one, really enjoyed quite a few from Hez Perfumes, and I'm looking forward to reviewing quite a few of them in the future. Delicious gourmands, like I'm really impressed with him. So anyway, Cafe Beignet was definitely a star and fits in this category of these scrumptious gourmands. The next one that I have to talk about is L'Eau de Parfum by Cirque du Soleil. So this was a sample from Hesse. Oh my goodness. I saw it and I'm like, and it's expensive. Like this one's like $250. And what I will say about it is that it does not last long. So on the skin, it projects for, I don't know, 3-4 hours. It lasts quite a long time. Like if I stick my nose up as a skin scent, I would prefer a little bit longer in the performance area for the price. But this fragrance is phenomenal. Like it is so delicious. So from what I understand, Cirque du Soleil was trying to kind of create, like basically this is the essence de Cirque du Soleil. And they nailed it. So you get cotton candy, red apple, and bergamot in the opening. In the heart, you have butter, popcorn, freesia, and iris petals. In the base, you get caramel, vanilla, amber, and sandalwood. I wouldn't say I get a ton of cotton candy, although now that I know it's cotton candy, it makes sense. It smells like strawberry to me. So you get that strawberry cotton candy feel. I don't notice any real apple or bergamot, especially on the skin. But then as that starts to morph, you get this delicious buttered popcorn vibe. And with the sweet strawberry cotton candy it's delicious. Like, it's so good. It's addictive. Like, I went through this sample so fast because I loved the smell of it. I loved smelling it on my skin, and it does smell a little bit like you're at a carnival or something like that, but I am all over it. It's the most sexy, sophisticated carnival circus. Like, this is a sexy circus. And when you think about it, Cirque du Soleil is kind of a sexy circus sometimes. So maybe that's why it smells so freaking sexy, but oh my goodness, I just love it. It also has caramel, vanilla, amber, and sandalwood in there, but mainly I get cotton candy and popcorn, and I am living for it. Like, seriously, this is pricey, but I'm very, very tempted to get it because I am so in love with this. So Cirque du Soleil, you did a great job. This is delicious. Now, the last one is also affordable, whether you buy the real thing or the version that I have, which is Couture Crumbled by Dua. This was a sample that I got from Val, but the original is Crumb Couture by Sniff, which is only $65 US. So for me, I would rather go for the original rather than this one. Although I have a feeling that the Dua is longer lasting. Oh my goodness, I am so in love with this. It has croissant, sandalwood, vanilla, tonka bean, wild berries, and black currant. This to me smells like a blueberry croissant, or a croissant with some sort of black currant blueberry jam on it. It's so delicious. Like, I am literally addicted to smelling like a big croissant. Croissants, honestly, are my weakness. I love croissants. Like, I love eating them on their own. I love eating them as a sandwich. I love eating them with chocolate in them. I love dipping them in coffee. Like, I just love croissants. So if I can smell like a big, huge, fresh, flaky croissant with preserves, you better believe it, I want to smell like it. So this is a fun fragrance. It's not overly sophisticated. It smells like a croissant with some delicious blueberry or wild berry preserves. But I am addicted to it. It is so delicious. Like, I can't get enough of it. So this is definitely one that I am for sure purchasing. I looked on Fragrantica, and the Sniff version, it says it's moderate. Moderate, some said it is long lasting, whereas the Dua one says moderate. About half are moderate and half are long lasting. So likely the Dua one, because it's neck straight, is longer lasting. I personally would go for the original just because it's still affordable. Like, honestly, Duas in Canada oftentimes end up costing over $60, usually closer to $70 to $90 to get them here. So for that price, I'd just rather get the original, the one that thought of the fragrance and first created it. That's what I would prefer to do. But you do you. I'm going to leave both options linked down below. But seriously, I smell like a blueberry croissant or something similar to that, and I am all over it. Like, if I can smell like a big, huge pastry, if I can smell pastry all day long and feel like I'm almost eating one without having to eat one, I'm in a happy place. So anyway, those are my most addictive. Like, I'm seriously, these are all on my wish list. I don't think I'll purchase the Cirque du Soleil one just because it is so pricey. Some of these are super affordable. Other ones are a little bit more pricey. I looked on the Source website for Match Made in Heaven, and they have a lot of different sizes that you can get, from 50 mils to 30 to 50 to 100 mils. So you can get something that's rather affordable. The 50 mil is $134, and that's in Canadian prices. The 100 mil is $215 Canadian. but it is a little bit more pricey, but I'm in love with it. So these are so good. Have you tried them? If you have, weigh in. I'll leave all the fragrances that I've mentioned will be left down below, and as well as the people that gave them to me, those links will be down below as well. Please weigh in if you've tried any of these. Let me know what you think. But as for me, I'm addicted to these. I just love them. That is it for today. Have an amazing week. We'll talk to you soon.